Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. In this video, we're talking about the top 10 tight ends for fantasy football 2020, a position we have to address. Let's get to the show. All right, guys, welcome to the top 10 tight end episode for fantasy football 2020. And I got to tell you, when I'm looking at fantasy football tight ends, I wait on them. I seriously wait on them. But by popular demand, and people are requesting it, it's one of those things I got to do. We got to do the top 10 tight end episode here today. Before I get into that, if you want to know which tight end to grab and where to grab the fantasy football tight end, make sure you guys get the 16-round draft solution. I'm telling you guys, this is the absolute game changer. I'm so proud of this product. The first ever and only, guys, I want to emphasize that, first ever and only video trading. Guys, everything's going digital now. Draft kits are dead because draft kits, literally, guys, it's just someone's opinion based on last year's rankings. Well, it's kind of their opinion of copying and pasting. So they're saying, okay, these guys finished on top last year. Let's change up two players, but really copy and paste last year's top finishers. You know, draft kits are dead. Anyone selling you a draft kit is probably stuck in the 90s using a flip phone. I'm telling you guys, the future is here. Get the 60-round draft solution. Link below on YouTube or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. And of course, guys, in the comments, leave your fantasy football questions. I'll get to as many as I possibly can, making this super interactive for you. I'm super excited, okay? All right, let's talk about the early top 10 tight ends here. First one. Now, this is really interesting. Kelce is my number one. He's actually finished top 4 at the tight end position. Top tight end 4 years in a row. He was the number one tight end finisher 4 years in a row, 2016, 17, 18, and 19. That is insane. I don't think I've ever seen that. 4 years in a row finishing on top. It's very, very rare, but I mean, he gets it done. So Travis Kelce last year, 254 points, 136 targets, 97 receptions on 5 touchdowns. He is a big part of that offense there with the Chiefs, a focal point for Pat Mahomes. And, you know, a decline has to be imminent, but I mean, how much of a decline is it? He's just a solid producer every single year. He's durable. He's strong. He's always there. But when you are looking at a tight end, you got to make a decision. Now, 7th and 8th finishers last year at wide receiver were like Landry and Edelman, okay? Guys like that finish in and around the 255 range, okay? Edelman and Robinson. Landry had 240 points, okay? Edelman and Robinson finishing around 7th amongst wide receivers. They finished with 255-ish points. And Kelce finished with 254. So when you are looking at a tight end, you are getting a second-round pick, but he's a rare breed because there's a big drop-off from Kelce to the second tight end, okay? I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is very important because instead of getting a tight end, you could be getting a solid running back that could finish top 10. And this is one of the main reasons I don't go tight end. Now, the drop-off was pretty significant, 254 points from Kelce to Kittle, who had 222 points. That was the number one and number two. So now you're significantly declining. So if you invest a second round pick in a Kelce, you're potentially getting a wide receiver 1, top 8 wide receiver. But again, there's a bit of a drop-off, a significant drop-off after Kelce. So I never go tight end early. I always go robust RB because that position is limited. You can literally roll the dice on a tight end later. As long as you get your secure 10 points, I'm happy, okay? And again, I got Kittle a couple years ago when everybody was going Gronkowski round 1. I went Kittle 10th round, and he blew up for me. So again, there is a fantasy ball draft strategy with tight ends. I talk all about that in the 16 rounds. It'll kind of get it all laid out for you. You'll know which tight ends to grab later on with some upside. All right, number 2, George Kittle, 107 targets, 85 receptions, 5 touchdowns, 222 points. Safe year. You know the 49ers spread the ball around. Kittle does have the upside in regards to the youth and the talent, but you know, you have the ceiling, but again, you're paying too high of a draft pick for a guy that's going to get you 222 points kind of as a floor. You know, that's okay, but again, I'm waiting on tight end, but I got to rank this. I got to put it in some sort of order. I got to make some sort of sense of these tight ends for 2020, okay? Next guy here. I like him, but again, they do have Jalen Reagor now, the Eagles. Carson Wentz, he doesn't stay healthy the entire season. He kind of falls apart near the end. But 135 targets last year. Number 2 in targets. The guy I'm talking about is Zach Ertz. 6 touchdowns. Number 4 in fantasy in 2019. But again, Goddard's going in there. He's stealing 87 targets. Zach Ertz, again, the 135, a significant more of a target share there for him than Goddard. But Goddard, 87 targets, 5 touchdowns, still stealing those touchdowns bothers me as well. If I got a tight end, I want him to be the tight end one, clear cut. And Goddard is there being a pest. And I guess that was partly because they didn't really have any wide receivers. But again, Zach Ertz is a guy I definitely like. But again, I'm not going to invest the early pick in him, okay? Number 4, and this is kind of 4 and 5, it's kind of a coin toss here, but Darren Waller, 117 targets, number 3 last year in fantasy points. I mean, he was rock solid, but they got now Ruggs there. I heard Jacobs going to be involved a little more in the passing game. Again, the tight end position, you can wait. I want to emphasize this, okay? But Darren Waller had a good year last year. Got him in at number 4. Got to plug him in there. Jacobs is going to be more involved in the passing game from what we're hearing. And again, they've got some receivers now that could get some of that volume in regards to passing because they didn't really have a receiver last year. Waller was the beneficiary of that. Could be a decline this year. Next guy, number 5. 96 targets, 64 receptions, 10 touchdowns, which I really like. Mark Andrews, a focal point of the Ravens offense. And these guys did not get a wide receiver. I think they got a guy here. Who did they get here? They drafted a guy, but nothing I'm really, really excited about. They got, what round was it here? 3rd round, they went Devin Duvernay out of Texas. 3rd round. I mean, is he going to do well? Who knows? But I think Mark Andrews is still going to be a primary target for Lamar. 98 targets last year, that could go up. And I think the ceiling is high for Mark Andrews. But again, you're paying a high price probably where you could be getting an ace wide receiver 1. You could be getting another backup RB. I'm not going to pay the price for Mark Andrews. His ADP is going to be higher. Probably, I've been doing some mock drafts, probably in and around maybe the 3rd to 5th round, maybe. Might be slipping into the 6th. It varies right now. Still a little uncertain in regards to ADPs. But again, I'm not paying that, okay? Coming in number 6, I think the ceiling is high here. This is very interesting. Evan Engram played only 8 games last year, finished 18th amongst tight ends. Not good, but again, 8 games. And they had a terrible O-line. Daniel Jones finding his groove. Now they've improved that O-line. They should be fully integrated into that groove. That offense should be solid. Evan Engram, if healthy, could easily be a top 5 tight end. The talent is there. The upside is there. And they didn't address the wide receiver position. So we're looking at Slayton. We're looking at Shepard, who hasn't been able to stay healthy. I love the ceiling of Evan Engram here. And people will be sleeping on him a little bit more. He is ranked 7th on the consensus, so his ADP may be higher in regards to these drafting sites. But a guy you can probably get 5th to 7th round, ton of upside there. He might be going off earlier, so keep him on your radar. I love the ceiling. Injury, a little bit of a concern, but I love the upside. Coming at number 7, and I'm not really sold on him being on the Browns, but I'm talking about Austin Hooper. I'll tell you why I like Austin Hooper, okay? I think the talent is there, number 1. There's no doubt about it, but he's not with Matt Ryan. He's with Baker Mayfield. Now, the good news is that they improved the O-line, which is good. This is a good sign for Baker. Beckham or Landry, probably Beckham's going to be seeing that double coverage, and I think Hooper's going to be open quite often. Now, here's kind of the information news I have for you. Njoku actually finished 9th in PPR the year before. He had 89 targets in 2018 and 4 touchdowns, 56 receptions. That's Njoku. I think Hooper's a better tight end. So I'm thinking hopefully that volume goes to Hooper and he becomes a top 10 tight end. I'm thinking he could be, but I'm not paying the price. I think he's still a little bit expensive. Not going to do it. But Hooper, top 10 potential. Coming in number 8, Tyler Higbee. 8th last year. This is kind of, I admit, I've copied and pasted here. But, I think this is where he falls. In and around number 8, 89 targets, 3 touchdowns. Nice thing is I think the touchdowns could go up for Higbee. Safe, secure, boring. Tyler Higbee on the Rams. With a tight end, this is a guy I may want to consider getting late, maybe 8th, 9th round. I think he's going to fall to the 8th and 9th round. And this is a guy I consider as a tight end 1, and then back him up with the next guy who I've got at number 9 is TJ Hawkinson. Now, a lot of guys are sleeping on him, but I want to make a note here. In the first 4 games of last season, Stafford was there, and he had 2 touchdowns in the first 4 games. Doesn't seem too exciting, but we know that he was being targeted in the red zone, and I love the upside here, okay? This is very, very important. Now, they did draft an O-line guy in the 4th round. The Lions did. So hopefully that gives Stafford a little more time. They've got Swift there. So I think Swift is going to be a solid running back there. As long as his pass protection is good, he should surpass Kerryon Johnson, not only in pass protection, but in talent. And I think things are going to open up with Hawkinson. And another good news with Hawkinson is that they didn't really acquire another wide receiver that's going to be a threat. They're going to stick with the tools they have. And I totally believe Hawkinson is going to be involved in the red zone. And he didn't play the full season. I think he played 12 games. So I think there's a ton of upside here for Hawkinson. Yeah, 12 games. So I'm expecting him to play a full 16 games. And he's going to have a high ceiling, I think, this year. He was drafted, I think, the 1st round by the Lions. So, again, it's a higher draft pick. The Lions believe in him, and I think they're going to utilize him this year for 2020. Hawkinson going to break into the top 10. And number 10, I see the ceiling here. They did improve their O-line, the Miami Dolphins. The guy I'm talking about is Mike Gesicki. I think the ceiling's high. He had a couple boom games near the end of the 2019 season, which shows some promise here going into 2019. Love the upside. Love the improvements. I don't know if Tua's going to get the start right off the bat. Either way, Fitzmagic should do some cool stuff with Gesicki. I like it. I like the ceiling. Now, with tight end, it's very safe and boring. Like I said, as long as I get 10 points out of my tight ends, I'm good. But I'm looking at the talent here. What is there? Maybe Henry on the Chargers, but who's throwing the ball? We don't know. If it's Tyrod originally, I'm not excited, right? Witten, Olsen, Rudolph, maybe Doyle from Indy. Noah Fant has some ceiling. But with tight end, you have to really, really be cautious. I usually get 2 tight ends, late rounds, and go for upside guys. But as long as I'm getting those 10 points out of my tight end, I'm good. And I'm loading on the skill positions like wide receiver, running back early. I am rock solid for my season. And I'm telling you, this is what I've always done. I don't put a lot of weight on tight end at all. Never have, never will. I just think it's one of those overrated positions, and I'm just not going to invest in it early on, especially, okay? So that's it. I'm going to keep it very simple with you guys, just laying out the top 10, giving you guys a little bit of the landscape in regards to this position for Fantasy Football 2020. And I implore you to be cautious because you do not want to invest in a tight end early. You get a lot of upside later in your fantasy football draft, and you can definitely succeed with other positions. Because again, there's more of a need for a running back early on because there's only a handful of those with minimal committees, and there's a significant drop-off after Travis Kelce. And I want to emphasize that for you guys when you're looking at this. I'm giving you practical advice for you guys to crush your leagues, okay? So get the 16-round draft solution available at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. And there is a link here below for you guys. This is the absolute game changer. You'll be definitely happy with it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Smash the thumbs up if you're on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next video.